So I'm going to show you this new chicken hauler that I made. But as I've been building this thing, it really got me thinking, what am I actually doing here? I'm focusing on systems to be better, to be more productive, to be more clear-minded. And it got me thinking of a book that I read in the pursuit of clear thinking and more organization in my life. It got me thinking of Atomic Habits by James Clear. And in that book, there was one story that really stuck out to me and something that comes into my mind all the time. And it's the story of the British cycling team and how they went from one of the worst teams around to gold medal champions. So the British cycling team was bad. I mean, very bad. They were so bad that they only won one gold medal in almost 100 years in the Olympics. It took them about 110 years till they were finally able to win a Tour de France. The higher-ups of the team mismanaged funds and finances to the point where they were almost bankrupt. They were so bad that bike manufacturers didn't even want them to sell bikes for fear that it would hurt their brand. And then came this man, David Brailsford. David Brailsford was a performance director, but more importantly, he was an organized man with a plan, and he was very persistent. He was able to take this team that was absolutely terrible, losing everything for almost 100 years, to world champions, winning gold medals in around 178 world championships and 66 Olympic gold medals. So here's our chicken hauler. I designed this to be able to move the chickens during butcher a lot faster. I realized during our setup, this is one of the things that was holding us back. So I designed these wheels that will roll up. So I designed this to be able to move around easily. I can hook this to my tractor, lift up, and move it. But it is light enough where if I did put a handle on it, I could roll it around myself. So how did he do it? Most people would assume that he just joined the team, fired everyone, and brought in new talent. We see this in hockey all the time. You get new leadership, you get new changes. People are trading, everyone assuming that this guy or this new player or this new line is going to be the ticket to take him to the gold. That's not what this guy did. His theory was of marginal gains, which my understanding is a breakdown of complex systems into tiny little parts, making tiny improvements in every single step of the way. Lots of us know this as 1% gains or 1% improvements. Well, what did they do? They focused on the little things. They changed the fabrics in the racing suits to make them more aerodynamic. They adjusted tire pressure. They rubbed alcohol on the tires to give them just a little bit more grip. They changed their diets. They painted the floor so the racers would be able to see just a little bit more dust so it wouldn't break down their bikes as fast. They even brought in a surgeon to show them how to wash their hands so the racers wouldn't get sick as much. All these tiny improvements to every single portion of our lives, they do add up. I also think they were extremely focused on it. That improvement, that becoming better, it was on the forefront of their mind all the time. So maybe an organized plan with the pursuit of greatness may actually be what brings greatness. So you can easily transport it when it's down. I just put a little hole in here where these bolts can go in. The problem is the wheels like to turn inward as I'm going, so I need something to make that better and hold them steady. As you can see there, the wheels rubbing the 2x4. I'm definitely not a mechanical person. Any suggestions, please leave down in the comments. That's rubbing there. I'm thinking maybe if I had a bar connecting the two, but then I would also have to work out how to be able to lever that, because the way I have it, this opening right here, I back into the chicken tractor and then lift that up, and that's how they go in. I have a door here, and I can just go in and grab the chickens and shut it, and then they're nice and safe in there. The hardware cloth on the sides and the top is 1/2 by 1/2 inch, and so nothing's able to get in there. 1% change I'd like to make this is to get a sex bolt or whatever you call it in there, and just to be able to thread this, and then it would actually hold in place. A couple times during transfer when this was up, like this one, it did actually fall out, but it was our first design of it. We'll get it better like we always do. David Brailsford brought about the theory of marginal gains. There's 365 days a year. If you got 1% better every single day, even every week, by the end of the year, where are you gonna be? You know, what's the cyclist's goal? It's to win. No matter what, no matter how bad they were, they always knew their goal. They were just going about getting it the wrong way. A 1% gain that I'm already seeing is that after this project and after the experience of using this project, how much efficient it was, how fun it was to do, it's got me excited, extremely excited and inspired to do more things of this nature, projects that is going to help us in the long run. You know, I've seen a lot of people make the assumption that when you live the homestead life or the country life, you know, you're from the city and you move on out to the woods or whatever, they just assume you're out there sitting around reading books and, you know, living the very, you know, lifestyle where it's all candlelit and beautiful and life is easy and simple. That's couldn't be the furthest from the truth. What I've realized is it is the exact opposite. It is a life of at the start what I thought was grueling hard work that was endless. But that's also the reason what's drawn me to reading books and learning from people who are high productivity experts and very organized minded people, because I've realized that to be able to do the amount of work that I do, it needs to be structured, it needs to be organized and focused. And that's going to be a theme that you see throughout practically every video that I make, because it has enhanced my life so much for the better. And I really have changed, and that those changes has affected every part of my life in a better way. When it comes to my work life, my family life, my creative life, what we're accomplishing on the homestead, with my relationships with friends, and just all around better. I love this part of it. I wasn't sure how I was gonna build this. I actually thought of this idea the week of gearing up to build this as I was gathering materials. So you can take this completely out. You load the chickens in, and you know, this could fit about 60 birds. As you go to the other end and start taking them out, they're all going to want to run to the back. Now, you don't want to crawl in there. I used to have to crawl into the old chicken tractors, and that's why the idea of this came about, because I was wasting so much time. You put this in, slide it in just like that, and then you can start pushing them out to the other side. Now, it's the little things like this that really speeds up the process. Takes a little bit to build and focus on, but once it's done, it's finished. And it saves so much time every single year. This is just a simple slot in here, and it just slides in. And there, they can't get in. You know, one thought that I only just came about recently was, no matter what, they were still in the race. They were always working at that goal. They may have sucked and they may have been absolutely terrible, even an embarrassment, but they kept working at it. They knew what they were aiming for. They were always working. They were always in the game. But focusing on 1% gains brought better work, better practice. I think when in the game meets extreme focus, clarity, organization, and a good plan being executed every day, dreams, goals, visions become realized. So yes, this is just a simple chicken hauler, but really, so much more.